He was in the dorm with another friend of mine, Lawrence Phillip.
Okay.
And Lawrence was another tall, skinny guy with glasses and long hair, just like me. Dork.
Like me too.
So Lawrence and I met right away, and then after a few weeks, he he brought me over to his dorm and introduced me to Steve Jobs, who was an interesting guy because he had a large professional reel-to-reel tape deck with dozens of hours of bootleg Bob Dylan.
Wow.
Bob Dylan tapes.
Yeah.
Which was very cool.
Sure. I can imagine.
I don't know if he had dozens of hours. He had, it was an 8-inch reel-to-reel tape deck.
Wow. He had brought it to the college.
Yes.
Was it Grundig, the brand? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's okay. So that's how you met, basically? That's how you became friends?
Yes, it was an impressive piece of gear. I don't know what he did to afford it. I don't know if he sold it to launch Apple Computer. I never asked him what happened to that thing. Or I assume he got a really good deal on it somewhere. No, I was at Reed, and well, Steve got Atari to fly him to Switzerland.
Oh, yeah?
So he only had to buy himself a ticket from Switzerland to India, which is a lot cheaper.
Okay.
And his schedule was he was already over there for a week or two before I could get there.
Okay. In which city was that?
Well, we flew into New Delhi. We were supposed to meet at a particular hotel.
Okay.
But Steve decided that hotel was charging too much.
Okay.
So he went to a cheaper hotel and left a note for me at the desk.
Okay.
But they never gave me the note. And then I just happened to run into him. So I was there for 3 days alone, and he was there too, and we just happened to be walking around in New Delhi, and we ran into each other.
Okay. And he had already had his hair cut by the guru, is it?
Yes, that's right. I barely recognized him.
I can imagine.
It wasn't, I'm not even sure who cut his hair.
Apparently it was a guru?
No, it was a guy named Nahar.
Nahar.
And he was a French hippie.
What?
A French yogi.
Okay, I got it. Right.
We had a good time. My sleeping bag was stolen.
Wow.
And all my traveler's checks were in the sleeping bag.
Oh my God.
I thought it was a junky sleeping bag, so I thought I would hide my traveler's checks there.
Right.
And so we had to go back to Delhi so that I could apply to be refunded my traveler's checks.
Sure.
And they wouldn't refund me.
Wow.
I was very upset. And Steve was leaving to go back to America, so he gave me all the rest of his money, which was, I think, like $150.
Wow.
A fair amount of money at the time.
Yeah.
I was very generous of him.
Sure.
Patty Jobs
Yes.
was living in the house, and she is the one who was plugging chips into the Apple I when I arrived.
Okay.
But she was doing it while she was watching TV. And so I got the job.
Okay. I got it.
In the summer of 1976, when I was staying at his parents' house, there were times when he would just kind of disappear. He would just leave.
Oh, yeah.
He would just disappear. He was probably going to see some girl. I didn't really resent it, but anyway, the point of the anecdote is he's got private areas in his mind,
Okay.
Which is neither good nor bad. That's just his personality. And it got to where the LISA project had 40 or 50 engineers. It was a good-sized project. And Steve Jobs was going to their meetings and, shaking things up with his ideas about what this computer should do and what it should look like. And I think the story is that John Couch went to the board of directors and said, "Could you please keep Steve Jobs out of my hair? We're trying to get this project going." and so Steve was told by Mike Scott or by the board, to leave them alone.
Okay.
And so he said to himself, "Well, screw that. I'll go start my own computer project."
Okay.
Right? Because Apple was very successful at that time, and he had a budget to spend. Quite a bit of a personality change when Apple started. And
in which way?
Well, when I knew him at college, he was very quiet and seemingly very shy, and I was more outgoing of the two of us.
Okay.
During the few years that he and I were good friends, he never talked about computers or electronics at all.
Oh, yeah.
But he was a very interesting, very intense, thoughtful young man, and he was a good friend.
Right.
And he was generous at the time when I needed help. So the main thing I would say is that when Apple started and he had the big personality shift, it was definitely not money, because Apple didn't have any money.
Okay.
It was more like the excitement and the ability to do something that has an effect in the world.
Right.